Well, we've claimed another unenviable record in our journey through this pandemic. Today, our daily COVID case number climbed to the highest ever reported in Australia. There have been 1,763 new infections and another 4 people have died from the virus. There are now more than 14,000 active cases in the state, which is more than twice what our peak was last year during Victoria's second wave. 517 COVID patients are in hospital, 101 of those are in intensive care and 66 are on a ventilator. But behind each one of these numbers are personal stories of grief and survival. Annie Kearney begins our coverage.
In intensive care for 6 days, hooked up to oxygen, Kim Hanrahan was desperate to get well enough to return home to her 2 young children.
I didn't know if this was as bad as it was going to get, but didn't know how it could get any worse.
The 49-year-old contracted COVID in July last year. Despite previously having no underlying health conditions, she suffered collapsed lungs and her recovery since has been painfully slow.
I feel a lesser version of myself due to this horrible, debilitating disease, which makes me sad for my boys.
A year and a half after Will Smith caught the virus, he still struggles to take part in everyday activities like walking his dog or kicking a footy.
I was 23. And it just come off the back of 4 years of Division 1 college athletics, training 2 to 3 times a day, 6 days a week. And now I had such debilitating fatigue that I sometimes couldn't even get out of bed.
The 2 survivors are sharing their long COVID experiences to encourage others to get jabbed.
Don't play Russian roulette with your health or of those you love.
In a rare bit of positive news, outbreaks in Melbourne's hard-hit northern suburbs have begun to stabilise as vaccination rates rise. But the area still accounted for 681 of today's new cases. There were 514 additional infections in the west and 370 in the southeast, including 131 in the Casey region, which has seen a rapid rise in the past week.
This rate has tripled and is showing the largest growth in Melbourne.
The government needs to engage in a mass media marketing campaign to encourage Victorians to go and get vaccinated.
In a push to spur on the vaccine take-up, authorities will start publishing suburb-by-suburb vaccination rates. They're also increasing efforts in 27 locations that are lagging behind the state average, including here in Kensington, where less than 75% of people have had their first dose. There are 39 cases in Victoria's prison system, including 19 inmates at Melbourne Assessment Prison, while 3 paramedics in Echuca have tested positive, with 1 working while infectious.
We're very stretched thin at the moment, so any health worker that needs to be furloughed is one too many.
Thanks to strong testing and low case numbers, restrictions will ease in the Latrobe region tonight.
It's never easy to be forced into a lockdown, but the strategy has worked.
Especially because of businesses and mental health reasons. Oh, I'm delighted for that.
A sign of hope for all Victorians. Annie Kearney, ABC News, Melbourne.
While the race to vaccinate isn't quite keeping up with the climbing case numbers, the vaccine rollout is gaining momentum. As of yesterday, almost 83% of Victorians over the age of 16 had received 1 shot, and more than 53% are now fully immunised. So we're edging towards key vaccination targets that'll mean more freedom for all of us in the weeks ahead. For some, though, today has delivered a welcome reprieve. Oliver Gordon reports.
Chippy Brendan Allen's fully vaxxed and back on the job.
It's good to be back. 2 weeks went pretty quick.
Tradies are now required to get at least 1 shot to go to work.
If you want to work, that's the way it is. So
it follows fierce opposition to the vaccine mandate that escalated into chaos on the streets of Melbourne last month. The CFMEU says the site of some of the most violent clashes, its Melbourne headquarters, has now been linked to 7 COVID infections, including 2 babies. The industry was shut down for a fortnight, but today it was back to work with a new set of restrictions, including limits on the number of workers on some sites.
On the Metro Tunnel site, where we've got something like 2,000 workers returning to work today, 99% are vaccinated. On our level crossing site, that's hitting around 95% of our workforce vaccinated.
It's not all systems go for builders though. Some home renovations are still on pause.
And we're also concerned about their clients too. Many people here in Victoria that have got half-finished kitchen and bathroom renovations.
Tradies weren't the only group packing their lunch again.
It's definitely a little weird after spending so long in lockdown, but it's a good feeling to be able to get back and see everyone.
About 90,000 Year 12 students returned to school for the GAT, or General Achievement Test.
Well, considering it kept getting postponed, it's good to just finally get it over and done with.
It was good. It went fast. I did have to just sit there a bit bored for a while, but it honestly was so much fun. Good to get it over with. And you know what? I'm just happy to be back at school.
While students were getting on with the job, one casual relief teacher was mounting a legal challenge against the state's vaccine mandate for authorised workers, on the grounds it breaches human rights and is not ethically or legally justified. She's seeking an injunction against the mandate for all childcare and school staff. A trial has been set for later this month at the Supreme Court. Oliver Gordon, ABC News, Melbourne.